exciting episode of Haunt Talk. Today we will be talking about Factory of Terror in Canton, Ohio.
This, they're known for being large. It's a very big haunt. I do believe at one point in time it was like the longest haunt, at least.
Yeah, 3 times Guinness World Record, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if it still is or not, but it is big. It's in a giant old factory that, obviously is not used for factory stuff anymore.
Factory of Screams.
Yeah. They've been doing this for quite a while. Like, they moved to location years back. They used to be at an old engine factory, Hercules engine factory, and now they're in this current location. I'm actually not 100% sure what this factory is used for. But either way, and they definitely use the location sort of their advantage, which we'll talk about here. But yeah, definitely a giant haunted house. And so if you're looking for a haunted house to keep you entertained for a while, this is definitely
for sure
a good one. But we'll start talking about sets and props. So it is divided into 5 different houses, and there's a line for each one. One cool thing is like once you finish the first 3 of the houses, there is a bar you can actually go to, and that's new for this year. And that was actually cool. We didn't have anything to drink there, but some of the stuff looked fairly reasonably priced.
Yeah.
They had a 32-ounce drink there for $10, and that 32 ounces is quite a big alcoholic drink.
That's like a big gulp right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty big drink.
A lot.
So that looked cool, and they also have a new haunt for this year. It was like I forget what it's called. Lafayette. Yeah,
Lafayette, and it was a New Orleans kind of themed haunt.
Yeah. So the first one you go to is kind of hodgepodge of things. I don't really even know what its name was. I don't remember the sign saying what the name of the first one was. But But yeah, it's essentially there's like a hospital scene in there.
Yeah, it seemed to be mostly like a hospital.
There's a church scene.
And then it kind of like segued into other stuff, and then it went back to the hospital. Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird. There's a lot of people in like scrubs and.
Yeah, it was strange.
Hospital gowns.
But yeah, it did kind of go back and forth between being a hospital and not a hospital. But so there were some really cool scenes there, like the church. I don't know if it's a church. It's like a garden, and there's like plants and stuff like that out there. And we've been going there for a while. They were actually part of the documentary that we've done. The one thing, some of the stuff kind of seems like it's kind of gotten a little bit in disrepair, I guess I could say.
Yeah. There's
certain things where it's starting to show its age, and I think it needs a little bit of touch-ups here and there. The next section, which is probably one of my favorite sections, is it's literally just factory themed. Is it Industrial Nightmare? Is that what it's called?
I think it's called Industrial Nightmare.
Something like that, yeah. And it is. It's almost just I think it is entirely factory themed, and as we had talked, it always gives us like anxiety.
It does, because there's a lot of like those like sparking electrical things and lots of air cannons and things like that. And you're just walking through, and you're hearing these grinding noises and
terrifying soundtrack.
Yeah, and it's just it makes you so anxious. And since the last time I was there, it seemed like they increased the size of this haunt.
Yeah, it seems like they've added stuff, or at least changed stuff around a fair amount. And there's just this like, it looks like it was really real factory equipment like working, and there's like corpses and stuff that it's slamming down on. And
what did you say? You said factory equipment, and someone just threw some Halloween decorations on
it. It looks like an abandoned factory. Someone just went and threw around gross Halloween decorations, which is what they're going for, I guess. And it's effective. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Next up was, let's see.
The Lafayette.
Yep, the Lafayette, correct.
Lafayette was third.
This one is pretty good. I like the theming. There is and the factory one actually had a fairly large, like, dark maze portion as well, which I'm just not a fan of that. And this one had an even bigger one, I think, the Lafayette did, which I was kind of like, But there was some really cool stuff in there as well, like really cool stuff. They had like a cabin, one of the better laser swamps I've actually seen.
Yeah.
They actually had a bridge that went above it, which was neat. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in that one, and I like the theme of like the swamp people and stuff like that. That was kind of cool. And then the next one, because then after that you get to the bar, and then you get to Massacre and Mahoning. And this one they've had, I think, ever since they opened at this location. It's more traditional haunted house theme, with some other stuff there. There's one of the most impressive graveyard scenes in a haunt. Very big, tons of dirt, open, sprawling. I'm trying to think. Oh, and they had that really cool, like, fireplace scene when you first walked in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was like a moving portrait, and then, like, they do something in the portrait and the fireplace underneath it. Like, well, she, like, lights her family members on fire in, like, this moving portrait, and the fireplace, like, blows, like, what looks like smoke and fire out. And then there's the spider cave. That was cool. And then the last one's the House of Nightmares, which is just kind of like a haunt with messed up stuff. And this year they made us crawl through some things as well. I had to crawl under a bridge, and they made us crawl through. I believe it was they made us crawl through a fireplace in House of Nightmares. So that was interesting.
I didn't have to crawl.
Yeah, they made you crawl through the second one.
They actually were going to send. There was a little person that was working there as one of the actors, and he was supposed to go in, and I think they kind of wanted to scare him by sending him in behind him, thinking it was me. But there was some miscommunication, and the guy never ended up going in there, but they made me walk around. They're like, except you can walk around. You go in there, and then told the little person to go, but it didn't happen the way it was supposed to. But it was kind of cool how they were trying to get to scare him.
But the place has a whole bunch of like animatronics and puppets and stuff. Some of it wasn't working, but still, this place is so huge, and there's just so much to see, and most of it's done really well and very impressive.
Yeah.
Definitely to a grand scale. It's kind of like everything they do there is just kind of like going big or going home type of thing. But for sets and props, we gave them a 9.
So, moving on, that takes us to actors. They need more actors.
And this is always the case with this place. It's so big. I'm sure they have a hard time staffing it, but it's just, there's a lot of areas you walk through and just nothing happens for a long period of time. And like the ones that were there were pretty good.
Yeah, the ones that were there were excellent, but it's like, I mean, you can't walk through, a couple minutes worth of scenes and have nothing happen.
And that's not exaggerating either. There were times where it was minutes would pass by.
Yeah. Like, legit, I think the first haunted house we walked through, and we walked through a couple scenes and nothing happened.
There's, and I mean, like I said, there were really good ones, like the people on the like bungee cord wire things that would come flying out would always get me. And the people that piloted the puppets, they were pretty good. There weren't even enough people to pilot all the puppets. There were a couple of like really cool puppets that I knew were there because you could see them, but they didn't have someone actually working them. I wish the actors had a little more speaking spots. They weren't like, some of them are interactive, and then some of them are just kind of like, there. I feel like they got better. The actors themselves got better as the haunt went on. Like as it went on, it seemed like they got better and better, which was cool. But the main thing is they just need more. And this is every time I've been to this place, it's something I say, they just need more actors. I don't know what they can do to get more because the place is so huge. But hey, the ones that are there, you guys did a great job. Actors, we gave an 8.52.
Alright, so moving on, we're going to Scare Factor. They did get me quite a bit.
Yep, they got me a few times as well, for sure. And like we said, the anxiety of especially the factory themed haunt is good. There definitely is some like gory scenes, especially in House of Nightmares, with all of like the stitched up bodies together and stuff.
His favorite room.
Yeah, there's some. There's some pretty messed up stuff in there. It's definitely not a haunt I would recommend really bringing young kids to. It's not like the most crazy intense haunted house. They will touch you a little bit. Not like lots of grabbing or anything like that, but I know they played with your hair a bit.
Yeah, they play with my hair a little bit, and like they'll poke at you, and grab at you, like occasionally if it fits. They're not gonna just like constantly be doing it.
Right.
Just if it seems like appropriate, they'll do it.
But if you're completely opposed to people touching you at all, they do. They do some in this haunted house. So that's just something to be aware of. But yeah, it was decently scary. So it would have been more scary, I think, if there would have been more actors. But the ones that were there got us a few times, and like I said, just the way the sets are designed definitely makes you feel anxious, which is always good. But yeah, for scare factor, we gave them an 8.5.
All right, moving on to value. So this is, it's a little bit more expensive than a lot of the haunts that we've gone to. Fridays and Saturdays, it's $28 per person. Sundays, it's $25. If you want to add the Fast Pass, it's $10 more. It took us about an hour to get through 5 haunted houses.
Yeah. And when we did get the Fast Pass, so that hour, very little of it was wait times. Because there was almost no wait. I would say if you took away anything besides haunted houses, about 50 minutes of pure walking through the haunted houses. But the cool thing is with your mission ticket, like I said, you get to you can go to the bar. And it's a pretty sizable area. It's not cramped. It's not like some haunted houses that do like this little bar. Like it's a full-fledged bar with like flat screen TVs for their menus and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they have like a little courtyard where you could like sit out and drink your drink or whatever. And
it's all themed to like that New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
All themed with that. And then the place also has like photo ops and different things. There was a little bar at the beginning of the haunt, like before you go and get your tickets. And then, like it's kind of like a whole little thing. You can just do like a whole little date night kind of thing,
And it was after you get your tickets, but it's before you get in line for the first haunted house, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you actually have to get your tickets out, so which I highly recommend getting them online. Because the line for the ticket booth was huge. Oh my God. So we bought them while we were in line. There was a service fee, but I mean, whatever. It was worth it, so we didn't have to wait in that line too. Because I'm like, that was like one of the longest lines just to get the tickets.
Right. Yeah. The fact that we had enough time to buy the tickets online, and we still hadn't really moved in the ticket line.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let's just go. So we gave it a 9 for value because, again, I mean, it took us almost an hour for 5 haunted houses. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's pretty worth it.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's a lot. There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. A lot of stuff. So.
All right, so that brings us to overall, which we gave the haunt a 9. Said minimal complaints. More actors was the biggest one. Second to that would be I would like the dark switchbacks to be the dark mazes to be a little bit more, especially in the Lafayette section. I would like it to be, I don't know, they could even like shorten it by half because it was fairly substantial.
Yeah.
Shorten by half, maybe make that a little more. Maybe that's something they'll do for next year because this is the first year that haunt's been there, and hopefully they'll maybe just cut that down a bit or completely and put some other cool scene there. And yeah, that was really the only major complaints we had. And the price is up there, but like I said, we think it's worth it. So if you haven't been there yet, you should for sure check it out. Maybe this review is like the last of this season, but if you're watching it and now it's 2020, I doubt that it's going to be any worse than what we're reviewing it now. So if you haven't been there, you should for sure check it out. Yeah, and it's close to others in the area. It's Canton, so there's also Ghoul Brothers, which we'll have a review of that, and Akron Haunted Ghost Laboratory is also close and owned by the same people. Also, something interesting we didn't point out in pricing, you can actually buy a season pass, which I believe is $130, and it includes unlimited fast pass visits to both Factory of Terror and Schoolhouse.
Wow.
Yeah, so which 130 is quite a bit, but since it includes fast pass and like if you actually plan on going to both and you live close and want to do it multiple times, it's not bad. It's also you can bring I think a friend and it's 50% off their tickets. So yeah, but yep, that does it for this review. I think. Make sure you subscribe to us, like the video, ring the bell so you get notifications when we upload more videos. Because we do plan on doing more stuff in the off season, like for the special events Haunt has, and just news updates or this convention stuff like that around the haunt industry. And also make sure to like us on Facebook. That link is in the description of the video, as always. And that does it for this one. We'll see you guys in the next.
Bye.